we are going to talk about Last Epoch, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty cool that they are moving forward with their multiplayer. Something that I'm looking forward to. I cannot wait till multiplayer is released for Last Epoch. It's a game that I really love to get into every now and then. Here and there, when they release big patches, I jump in, I test some stuff out. I'm loving the Ranger class. That's been wicked fun. And I'm looking forward to multiplayer and being able to play with my buddy Adric and the rest of my friends and really dive into this game. And they released a multiplayer fact. They also released a video. I don't have that on me right now. Definitely check that out on Last Epoch's YouTube page because it looks like a fun time. But they've been working on multiplayer, so we're going to take a quick glance at some of the questions that are frequently asked and, you know, their answers to them. Number one being, when will multiplayer be released? They say that they find it important that multiplayer is received well rather than received quickly, which I think is a great thing. You don't want to rush this and all of a sudden have big problems, especially with, you know, falling into where all of a sudden streamers are like, this game and we don't want anything to do with it. Stuff like that. You don't want to run into that problem where it doesn't go smooth during the beta. So I think that waiting till it's ready, getting everything right and perfect and flowing well together and making it fun for people should be the priority, not getting it out to people who are complaining that it needs to come out. I've always felt that games should always be waiting until it's ready because you can shut people up afterwards who were complaining that it took so long, but you cannot shut them up afterwards if you release it and it sucks. It's so hard to recover, Wilson. It's really hard to recover from that.
No Man's Sky. Wait, what?
No Man's Sky.
I know
it was hard to recover. How long did it take for them to recover, though? It wasn't
years,
an instant
man.
recover.
Yeah, it's been years.
So yeah, how many people in the party? 4 people. I was hoping for more.
You were hoping for 6, weren't you?
I was hoping for 6. I was hoping for 6. 5 or 6. 5 or 6 would have been great. But 4, all right. So it's just like Diablo 3, etc. I was hoping for 5 or 6, but 4 is okay. Will I be able to play offline? Yes, but not multiplayer. This has to be something they have to get absolutely right before they launch this game at 1.0. This has to be something that can't be navigated around because this is their best bet in, you know, helping combat any cheating or anything like that. So that is very, very important that they get that part right. Will I only see other players if I'm in a party with them? Okay, I get it. Sorry. When adventuring through the world, yes, though you will see other players in public non-combat areas like towns and the Bazaar. Okay, so similar to PoE, where you can see other players in the town, but then when you go out to fight monsters and do your quests, you're in your own little instance. I like that. I don't mind seeing other people in town and stuff like that, and then being, you know, the lone wolf while you're out there doing your stuff. There will be a way to find others to party up with, so I'm guessing a party finder system. There will not be PvP prior to or with the launch of 1.0, but it is something that they're looking at. I don't know why people feel the need to add PvP into ARPGs. That's a personal opinion. Your thoughts, Adric?
Yeah, PvP just makes... Like, ARPGs are too hard to balance as it is across classes and things like that. Adding PvP just... it adds that much more complexity. So I'm never really excited when I hear about PvP going into any ARPG. It's probably the thing that has me most nervous about D4 is the amount of risk that's involved in adding that and balancing issues. Kind of on the fence there about, you know, whether or not it should really even be considered. But I know a lot of people do want something like that. And if they can get it right and it adds some competitive aspect of the game other than something like ladders or, the leaderboard in D3, then it adds something to the game. It's just the amount of effort they're going to have to put in to make sure everything is right and well balanced is really high.
I think that's why they're going to wait till after 1.0. After the official release. They're also saying that possibly you won't be able to inspect other players until after 1.0, but it is something that they're going to add. Here's one. Will there be incentives to party with other players? No.
Thank God.
That's the thing right there. We want the decision of playing with others to depend on whether you like spending time alone or playing with others, pretty much. So
thank you so much.
They're trying to
finally got it right.
They're trying to steer away from it being, more efficient way as a party. In effect, it's still going to be more efficient just because
you can kill stuff faster.
The way they put it later on, and I'll probably get to that and we'll skip it when I do, is they put it where a well-oiled machine of a team will clear content faster than a solo player. A solo player will clear content faster than a disorganized team. So that's the way it's going to work out. They want it to be equal. And that's the thing with the multiplayer. And that's something that both Diablo 3 and Path of Exile are the opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to team play in their games, mostly. Unless you're running Aura bots and Curse bots in Path of Exile, group play sucks. In Diablo 3, group play is an awesome way to gain XP, even if you're not running the meta, because you can just run lower tiers and still level up faster than solo players running the same tiers, because you get a bonus to your experience and all of that, and they're not doing that with the multiplayer here. Now, I'm guessing you just earn the same exact amount of experience as you would solo, but in a group, the monsters, their hit points go up, but their damage does not. So that's something that they talk about later. I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I want to be able to get through these as well. There's a lot of questions that they answer in this, and it's pretty cool overall. I like the way they're going to do multiplayer. Will party members be able to resurrect each other? Yep. Can party members revive Primalist party members' pets? Yes. Yes, you will be able to help a Primalist resurrect his pets. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually find that one is kind of a weird one.
It is, but I think with the Primalist pets in Last Epoch, you have to stand in that circle. And it reses them. So I think you'll be able to go stand in the circle for the Primalist, and it'll bring it back up. That'll be pretty cool to see. If
but the thing is, like, the way I'm looking at it is, if the Primalist isn't acting as the tank, the Primalist should be able to stand in that circle, no problem.
There's no tanks, period. No tank healer. They want you to be able to play 4 DPS and just go. They will, obviously, there are things in the game that's going to give you benefits to each of your party members and stuff like that. Lesnar, with a donation to Save the Children at this Level with a Cause event. Thank you so very much for that. Greatly appreciated. In this YouTube video, I'm going to also post a link to the Level with a Cause event over this weekend through the 25th of July. You'll be able to donate to that, and that'll be pretty good. And then I'll probably remove that link afterwards so it doesn't get confusing. But if it's there and you want to donate, please feel free. Yeah, enemies scale. When additional party members join an area, monsters' health will scale up per party member. We are not planning to scale damage, as this can be discouraging for players who have geared defensively for a solo experience. So, You don't want to punish people for jumping into a group by having the monsters deal more damage, etc. You'll just increase their life so that everybody has to commit to helping each other out to take down the content. So the object is, if you have 4 really good solo players, they're going to make a really good group. Are there tanks and healers? While players may build to be tankier or heal allies, there's no designation that a player is or is not a tank, healer, or other. Parties will not need to be built with tanks and healers in mind. That's the goal. That's the goal. But that's also the goal of the other 2, of Path of Exile and Diablo 3. It wasn't designed to have 1 DPS and 3 supports, but here we are, and that's how pretty much both games run now when it comes to group play. So that is something that have to take into account, is eventually there might need to be some tweaking as far as that goes.
Now, be funny if you start seeing like the group meta ends up being like 4 like insanely overtuned like pet characters that have just tons of pets flooding the screen all over the place.
Will content be easier or harder in groups? Our design goal is to have it so that a party that is cooperating is slightly more efficient than a solo player, and a disorganized party is slightly less efficient than a solo player. So that's pretty good. I like that. I like the fact that, you know, they're putting it out there and they want you to do it if you want to, and don't punish you if you want to, and don't punish you if you don't want to. That should be the thing. And that's the way these games should all be, in my personal opinion. Is there going to be a group meta when this game goes live and stuff like that? Yeah, most likely, because that happens. That's going to happen no matter what you do to try to avoid it. There is going to be a best group. There's going to be a best build for this character, etc. Unless they can nail that balancing. And if anybody can do it, I think it's the people at 11th Hour Games, because this is definitely something that has impressed me with its growth over the last couple of years. Last Epoch, when I first started playing it, I mean, it was a great idea, and that's why I backed it on Kickstarter as well. But it was a great idea, but, you know, I was a little worried. But as each patch comes out, I'm less worried and more hyped about this game coming out. Can I skip parts of the story through party member boosting? Yes. We prioritize letting people play together over forcing players to go through every step of the story. Look at that. A team that understands. A team that understands that, you know what? Maybe people have different ideas of how they want to play the game. Maybe you want to play with your friends, but now you're way behind. Maybe there should be a way to help them catch up to you just by, you know, not having to be stuck in the same part of the story and not be able to catch up until you're done with the story and into the monolith. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I love that. That is pretty beast, actually. Following up on that question, how are you going to get passive points and idle slots? The same way as if you played normally. You'll need to go back and complete the quests to get the passives and idles if you skipped content with a group. So they're not going to reward you for it, but they're not going to punish you either. It's just if you want those passives that the quest would have given you, you do have to go do them. So I think that's pretty cool, though. So you'll be able to help people out and play with your friends and then go back and do what you need to do. Can I power level my friends? There's a cap on effective experience level of a zone. For example, a level 10 player in a level 20 zone will XP as if the players were level 13, not 20. Huh. So that's interesting right there. You'll be able to level up, but pretty much at a normal pace. You know, you'll just with a good team, you'll be able to kill faster, so maybe
Yeah.
level up a little faster that way. What will the trade system be like?
That's a good question.
Our current plans regarding the trade system are still a work in progress and will require scale testing, but are centralized around having an area for players to congregate called the Bazaar. In the Bazaar, you can visit other players' shops and purchase items for in-game gold. The player shops that appear are random, so the act of finding gear that you are interested in feels like browsing an active bazaar instead of finding players on third-party websites to trade with directly. That's
I
interesting.
kind of like that.
That is definitely something that's original, in my opinion. I've never heard of anything like that.
I like the idea of it. I think they'll probably get a lot of flack about it because when it comes to trading systems, people are going to complain no matter how it's done.
Yeah, you know what? No matter what anybody does, people are going to complain about it. Somebody out there is going to complain about there being multiplayer in it at all. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. So,
no,
you know
I
what?
like the idea
like
behind
idea.
that trade system, though.
It's pretty cool. We want the main item hunt to remain outside of trade. So making this an enjoyable experience, but not the clear best way to obtain better items, is our goal. Players in a party will also be able to gift items to each other as long as the item dropped after both players join the party. Oh, so like Diablo 3, you'll be able to give somebody an item, but only if that dropped while they were in your party.
Okay, so
that's
there's basically a direct way to trade with friends and group members. But
if
other
they're
than that,
around
trading
when it
is if they're there when it drops. But other than that,
trading is random.
kind of a random thing.
Huh.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's okay.
That is interesting.
Because that's also going to give people possibly more motivation to, make friends and go play with friends. Because if they get a drop that you need, guess what? They can directly give it to you. So that might kind of an indirect way to sort of incentivize the idea of, sometimes you want a group.
Yeah. Are you changing loot drop rates or crafting because of multiplayer? Perhaps, but if so, not drastically. We want the drop rates to be mainly balanced around self-found and feel we are doing a decent job of this right now. And they are.
Yeah.
I love the drops in Last Epoch. It's more than Diablo 3, less than Path of Exile. It's like a sweet spot. I think it needs a little bit less, but overall, it's not bad. Plus, their loot filter is built in, and it's a pretty good way to do it.
And they also have, I like the fact that they have a great crafting system, but the best tier item modifier, it only comes from things that are dropped. So there's still a reason to be doing your item chase. Can't just craft the best possible gear, which has apparently been the issue that PoE has been having every time they put deterministic crafting in. So I do like that the highest tier affixes come from drops, and then you can craft onto that weapon if you want to risk breaking it.
Yeah.
So it really makes you weigh that, risk reward thing.
Yeah.
I think they strike really good balance in a lot of their systems.
They do, especially with the crafting system. There's a lot of that risk versus reward within their crafting system, and you can make really great items, or you can screw up a really great item, and that part's really cool. How will loot drops work in a party? They'll be instanced, meaning you'll only see items that drop for you. You cannot see items that drop for other players, and they want loot to drop at the same rate and rarity that it does when you're not in a party. So you'll still be able to get decent gear and the same drop rates. It'll just be you can only see yours. Very cool.
Well, that sort of, since each person can only see their own loot, is that maybe gonna give sort of a increased loot rate to groups? Or is it just sort of the similar loot rate? It's just some people see different items that drop. Or does
Well,
each
that's a
person
good
get their
question.
or does each person get their own loot drop
No, they're
rate?
saying that they want loot will drop at the same rate and rarity that it does when not in a party.
Yeah, but is that like per person
Yeah,
or for the group as a whole? That's a
that's
good
what I'm
question.
reading it as, is since it's instanced, it's going to drop as if you were solo for you.
Which would basically mean that a group would have 4 times the loot, and since you can base trade within the group, that makes the potential for
Yeah,
item drops to be more likely with a group,
very
if
true.
that's the way that works
Especially
out.
if you're
So,
all running the same characters, just different versions of the build. You can loot share and stuff like that and get somebody, really buffed up. So that's a possibility. It won't mess up your quest echoes in the monolith. If somebody else starts a monolith, you can follow the player into their echo and
okay,
help them
that's
complete
good.
it. So it doesn't mess with yours. So that's good. It doesn't mess with your map system. Do I get blessings if I help my friend kill a monolith boss? Yes. So that's good. But that could lead to, okay, we all have our bosses. Let's all go do all the bosses. We all get all different
Yeah, a bunch of
blessings. And
blessings and
so, yeah, that's interesting right there. Oh, there it is. Follow up. Does this make the most optimal way to play to be to split up and tackle multiple timelines at once, then just join for the boss fight? No, because you gain the same stability with 4 players completing one echo together as you do with 4 players all completing different echoes, assuming each echo has the same stability reward. Will there be player hideouts or housing? We are interested in adding a player housing system. This is not
oh god,
included in our initial launch scope, however, and they're thinking of adding that in the future. I
we're
like
gonna
the
lose
thought.
Wolf Crier forever.
Oh, if it's
If you
buildable,
can
yeah, I'm
build your
done.
house, we're gonna
I'm
lose
telling
Wolf
you.
forever.
I'm telling you guys right now, if they ever come out with a survival building game set in the Diablo universe, or that has really good ARPG aspects to it, like, I'm gone. Nobody will see me ever again. But no, I like everything here. I'm liking Last Epoch's multiplayer, the thoughts on it. And I think it's going to be pretty good once they do release it. I think multiplayer for Last Epoch is going to be very fun. And so far, it sounds like the best way to do multiplayer. I'm just really, really looking forward to this game coming out and them finishing it up. They do so much work with each patch. Every patch just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. And yeah, they're kicking ass over there at 11th Hour Games. I'm so hyped for this game. So much better to wait till it's ready, just like the multiplayer. Just wait till it's ready. If you have to compete with Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 2 because it wasn't ready in time, then do that. But make it the best damn game you can. You don't want to be, 6, 7 years like Wolfson Lords of Mayhem and then releasing it and crashing and burning because you didn't fix the things that you knew were a problem before the game launched. All right. So with that being said, we're going to end this video. We're going to still chill with chat. If you're interested in watching these streams, twitch.tv/wolfcrier. You can also check out Atric, twitch.tv/Atric. But, all right, thank you very much for checking out this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know down in that comment section down below your thoughts on the Last Epoch multiplayer fact sheet and your thoughts overall on Last Epoch. All right, thank you. Peace.